Welcome to the short and study classes. Get ready for the freehand progressive short and dictation. The petitioner in ground number 4 of the petition has clearly stated sports officer is a teacher because he imparts instructions to the students of the college in physical education, and in reply to above ground the respondents has only submitted that the petitioner has no ground to get any relief from this honorable court star. There is no specific denial on behalf of the respondent to this effect star. It is clear from the duties of sports officer that he gives instructions and teaches the students with regard to sports, and he is related with the sports activities of the university, which is a part and partial of the education para. From the aforesaid affidavit, it is clear that a physical director has multifarious duties star. He not only arranges games and sports for the students every evening and looks after the procurement of sports material and the maintenance of the grounds, but also arranges inter-class and inter-college tournaments and accompanies the students' team when they go for the inter-university tournaments star. For that purpose, it is one of his important duties to guide them above the rules of the various games and sports star. It is well known that different games and sports have different rules and practices, and unless the students are guided about the said rules and practices, they will not be able to play the games and participate in the sports in a proper manner star. Further, in our view, it is inherent in the duties of a physical director that he imparts to the students various skills and techniques of these games and sports star. There are a large number of indoor and outdoor games in which the students have to be trained star. Therefore, he has to teach them several skills and techniques of these games apart from the rules applicable to these games star para. It may be that the physical director gives his guidance or teaching to the students only in the evenings after the regular classes are over star. It may also be that the university has not prescribed in writing any theoretical and practical classes for the students so far as physical education is concerned star. But as pointed by us earlier, among various duties of the physical director expressly or otherwise are included the duty to teach the skills of various games as well as their rules and practices star. The said duties bring him clearly within the main part of the definition as a teacher star. We therefore do not accept the contention raised in the additional counter affidavit of the university star para. Section 2N of the AP Act is read in conjunction with Statute 32. The word teacher encompasses one who is enjoined to impart instructions and oblique or conduct and guide research and oblique or extension programs star. The definition being inclusive in nature would have to be read expansively, and when read in the context of PTI oblique sports officer, it cannot be denied that the appellant, while discharging his duties, was required to impart different skills sets and playing techniques depending on the nature of the sport for training the students to start. Merely because the appellant as a PTI oblique sports officer was not expected to conduct classes within the four walls of the college, as in the case of a professor, oblique associate professor, oblique assistant professor, would not by itself make him ineligible for being treated as a teacher for all practical purposes, inasmuch as most sports require training in open spaces, fields, courts, etc. The reliance placed by the division bench of the High Court on the decision of a three-judges bench in the case of State of Madhya Pradesh and others versus Ramesh Chandra Bajpai, wherein the reference was made to the decision, it was held therein that the proposition laid down in the said case should not have been automatically extended to other cases, and the whole issue would depend on the nature of rules under which an employee is governed, is, in our opinion, misplaced laying emphasis on the aforesaid observations made in the last para of the Ramesh Chandra Bajpai's case bracket supra. The impugned judgment records that the definition of a teacher under the MP government service rules cannot be imported into Statute 32 to give it a liberal interpretation so as to include a sports officer as a teacher para. The relevant provisions of the Act and the statute governing the instant case have been extracted above and juxtaposed with the provisions of the AP Act, and having gone through the relevant regulations, there is no manner of doubt that the definition of the word teacher under the Act corresponds with the definition of teacher under the AP Act, which was the subject matter of consideration in P.S. Ramarao bracket suprasta. We are therefore of the opinion that the division bench of the High Court had no reason to rely on the observations made in the case of Ramesh Chandra Bajpai bracket supra, where the fact situation was entirely different. In the said case, this court was required to decide as to whether the private respondent therein, who was working as a physical training instructor in the government Ayurvedic College Ujjain, Madhya Pradesh, could claim parity of pay with teachers who had been granted UGC scale of pay star. The view expressed was that the doctrine of equal pay for equal work can only be invoked when employees are similarly situated and there is wholesale identity between holders of the two posts. This court did not find any substance in the plea taken by the respondent therein that the decision in the case of P.S. Ramarao bracket supra would have any application to the facts of the said case, and observed that the said decision had been misapplied and misconstrued by the High Court to give benefit to the private responded to star. In the case at hand, a comparison of the fact remains with the situation and the provisions of the relevant act and regulations with those analyzed in the case of P.S. Ramarao, bracket Supra, which show clear parity star. Just as under the PS or AP Act, where the definition of a teacher contained in Section 2N was an expansive one and extended not only to those persons who impart instructions, conduct and carry on research work for extension program, but also those who were declared to be a teacher within the purview of the definition under the statute framed by the state government, same in the position under the JNKVV Act, the statute and relevant regulations star.